but I don't push out as much content as MMO by, okay? So I might fall in between the cracks, especially because I do a lot of different content, but it's especially because I cover so many different games in my unique fashion that I'm here today making a video calling out MMO players. I know the MMO genre can be pretty freaking addictive, right? I understand. You fall in love with one game, or you're chasing the dragon, you're jumping from game to game, and you just can't get enough of whatever you're trying to get. But that's why I'm talking about a game called Spellbreak, and that's why a lot of people are talking about a game called Spellbreak. And there's a few other games out there. I did a list called PvP RPG, actually, which is going to be something that's reminiscent. It reminds of MMO Battlegrounds, but this game specifically is the one that it wasn't even my number one, but oh my god, is it taking my heart right now? And it's taking the internet by storm. I think it's getting a little bit of reality here with people showing it off on Reddit with just the few trailer footages that they've got. They shouting it out there, and people are like, oh my god, this looks amazing, and that's what I want to talk about. Actually, I've already talked about how it looks amazing, like literally in a couple of videos, but I'm going to be talking about why people, especially MMO players, are looking at this Battle Royale. Now, you're going to see a lot of comments on a lot of this Spellbreak's videos saying, oh my gosh, this would be a good MMO. Look, I get it, guys. You're missing something out of MMOs. Yeah, you're not quite getting it. And yes, as an MMO, this would look cool. It's not an MMO though, but I want to talk about that. I want to talk about why people think this would make a good MMO. I want to talk about why people are hungry for a game like this who are normally MMO players. From that perspective, guys, as somebody who jumps around and plays lots of different MMOs and also lots of different games, I can tell you right now what MMO as a genre just simply doesn't have. Minus like one game, which is PlanetSide, being a first-person shooter. There's like no vertical combat inside of MMOs. And it's super rare to see an MMO that actually does focus on PvP, that actually, well, like runs and it is good and is okay. When it comes to big team battle games, we do have Battlegrounds style games. They've been around. They've generally been not great. But I could have made a PvP RPG list a while ago. I could have made a Battlegrounds list. Actually, I do have that document up. It's just those games actually, half of them are dead and half of them nobody plays. So yeah, games like Chivalry, that's probably the only game I can say. And For Honor, those are the kind of games that, like, man, wouldn't it be cool if that was just like a full-blown MMO? Yeah, it would be cool. Well, holy shit, what if Spellbreak was an MMO? That's the thing, guys. Is MMO the genre, because of the way it has to be designed with the netcode and such, they have to limit certain mechanics, or they have to fake certain mechanics. So a lot of action combat MMO, they're not really action combat, things like that. A lot of stuff in PlanetSide lacks a lot of physics that you might see in something like a proper arena shooter. So it comes with that genre. But that's not to say that you can't have a big team battle or a near massive scale game, such as a Battle Royale, like 30 players. There's no reason to say you can't have that and then have crazy magical abilities. Honestly, I'm surprised we haven't seen a 1v1 game like this. There have been a few like Magical Wizard Wars. There is an action RPG that uses magic. A couple other single player games like Lichdom Battle Mage that we've seen really utilize magic. But I'm really surprised that we haven't seen a bigger online battleground style game with giant magical spells until now. And I think honestly it's just really novel and unique. But the thing is that we have played MMOs that have big spells. You can run into any battleground in World of Warcraft. You're gonna see some big frost novas. You'll see raining fireballs and consecration. Big AOE blood freaking stuff, Death Knighty thing. I don't know, man. I actually played Death Knight. I don't even remember the abilities. I just press buttons in that game. Regardless, you can run into a lot of MMO, especially Guild Wars 2. Holy crap, dude! I actually love playing Great Bow Warrior because explosions. You can get really big explosions, really big effects in MMOs, but it's like really high cooldowns, or there's like severe limitations, or they might look big, but they don't change things physically. They're not as impactful, and generally MMOs just kind of look bad. Also, here's the big thing. Here's what I've been kind of winding up for the big punch here, guys, is that we are looking at a game called Spellbreak, and we're like, holy shit, that looks like RPG, MMO RPG mechanics. This could be an MMO RPG, couldn't it? Yeah, I mean, it could have been. It could be, but unlike most MMO, even the most action-packed MMO, Blade and Soul and Black Desert Online, and Guild Wars 2, even, those have big abilities, big spells, lots of combos. They can play very fast, but they're not vertical. Even Guild Wars 2, which is it's freaking a jumping puzzle MMO. It's got tons of leaps and stuff, but not really at the same time. They leap forward. They don't really leap up. You don't really blink up. It's not like Overwatch. It's not like Paladins. It's not like any hero shooter. You don't have anything that gives you true verticality, and the gameplay is not really designed around it. Most MMOs are frankly in multiple ways flat. And that's why you guys are getting so freaking turned on at Spellbreak. I think it's a reason why people are really excited about a game called Gigantic as well. It just looks clean. A lot of MMOs don't look clean. It looks simplified, but mechanically intensive. It's basically the antithesis of a lot of MMOs while still taking on those base principles of being an online action RPG, design foundation. And a lot of people want that. A lot of people want that gameplay. So you guys who are looking at MMOs, what I can say is, look, the MMO genre, as inclusive as it tries to be, with addiction, daily logins, trying to fulfill every player's desires, trying to do all these different things, as inclusive, as much as a developer or publisher wants you to live in their MMO, an MMO just doesn't, it might technically do everything, dude. World of Warcraft has tons of things, right? Guild Wars 2 has tons of things, but it doesn't do many things great. And it really, those games, they still, as much as they have stuff in them, it's like they just do the one thing good, the endgame raiding or the seasonal events or something like that. That's what they do. So you don't have to, feel brokenhearted that you're looking at Spellbreak and feel like you're cheating on your wife or something. No, guys, it's okay. I know that a lot of people in the MMO community feel this way. Whenever they see a new game, they feel like they have to game hop. They feel like they have to dedicate their life to just one game. But look, just because it's a battle royale, that doesn't mean anything. That's the foundation. Well, what about you? You're just playing another MMO. Look, guys, Battle Royale, I know it's a fad, but look what Spellbreak brings to the table. It brings all the tables, man. Stacked on top of each other. Vertical as fuck. That's what's so exciting. It's got big, bombastic spells that look crazy. Not too uncommon in MMOs. Okay, we have in some ways seen this, but it's how those abilities shape the gameplay, isn't it? People are flying all over the place. Jumping off of mountains, doing giant cataclysmic explosions. Because the game is vertical, you can see abilities where they throw a boulder and it gets bigger over time until it lands. So you can, you're being higher on a cliff actually matters, where in an MMO, it almost never does. There's almost never any incentivization to be up somewhere. It is actually sometimes a hindrance. It's annoying. So MMOs, because it's mainly because their netcode, they have to be designed flat. Even BDO, which is so ridiculous. You have so many blinks and teleports and dashes, but have you tried to jump in Black Desert Online? Have you seen that experience? Have you tried jumping in Blade and Soul? You know how you can actually move super vertically in Blade and Soul until you start combat, and then all of a sudden you're like 1/3 the speed and you can't really jump anymore unless you use an ability that makes you do a combo in the air. Yeah, that's how MMOs work, okay? And I think that's why it's super exciting to see this game. Now, some people, you'll play MOBAs for one reason or another. You'll play other type of games. Arena shooters are very vertical, very fast-paced, but very confined. So seeing Spellbreak, which has elements or a feeling of an arena shooter, obviously has the openness of a battle royale game, which is going to be kind of reminiscent of battlegrounds and MMOs, and then has those action RPG elements that are just taken to the insane extreme, man, right? Exponentially explosive. This is why people are really turned on by this game. It could have been an MMO, but because it's not, it's better. It actually couldn't. The way it exists right now, you can't. You're not going to see an MMO like this. Not for a little bit. It's just the modern era internet. It just doesn't quite work. Even most battle royales are janky as hell. Like, let's admit it. So, including all this crazy stuff, it generally doesn't work. But look, a lot of people who play MMOs and action RPG, especially action RPG and MOBAs and battlegrounds, period, it's very flat. It's very, I'm not going to say it's boring, but in terms of a spectacle, it's generally very messy, or it's very constrained for the sport of it in ways. Kind of chessy, kind of board game-ish, isometric view, League of Legends, very action-packed game. But it's not vertical. This is something, we're taking the aspects that could have been in MMOs. We saw it in PlanetSide, kind of. It was kind of in Darkfall. There's a few games, like Guild Wars. Technically, sometimes you can be on a cliff and shoot a fireball down at the ground. It doesn't really work like that, but it's always such a dream to do certain things in certain games. In an MMO with such an expansive world, you would expect to have abilities that utilize the expansive world, and that just has not lived up. Like, almost no game has really lived up to that expectation. The ones that have tried have failed for a number of different reasons. But this game is not trying to reach out and do anything extra. It's taking that idea, the same fantasy that you have, all the comments, man, this would be a great MMO, taking that fantasy and just, putting it in a lobby. Putting it in a lobby, yes, it's a battle royale, but dude, in every other way, they are going full force with that power fantasy, and I think it's beautiful in a way that most MMO, if like basically all MMO, could just dream of doing. And especially with the style, man, just the style, the look, the aesthetic, dude, all of it is looking pretty great. So everybody's talking about this game because it just looks great, but specifically MMO players, I just laid out the reasons. It looks great because we frankly just don't really see this stuff inside of MMOs when it feels like it could be so natural. So I'm suggesting if you're normally an MMO or online RPG player, maybe give a looky-loo to Spellbreak. I think you might have some fun. So I'm gonna shill the crap out of this game if I ever get the chance. I'm gonna be promoting it. I'm gonna be